Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. How are you doing? A little while back, I asked you guys in the community tab of the YouTube channel, what is a fragrance that you could wear for a week straight, daytime, nighttime, not get tired of it, and it would work regardless of what you're doing. And you guys gave me so many different answers that today I have 15 of those fragrance choices that I'm gonna share with you. So these are the fragrances that you guys say you could wear for a week straight, no problems. Thank you to everybody who left a comment. Thank you to everybody that upvoted other people's comments. If you want to be featured in a future video like this, check out the community tab of the YouTube channel. There should be a question on there where you can leave your answer or upvote other people's. And all of these fragrances are going to be linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. And here are a bunch of codes that you can use if you shop for fragrances online at any of these different fragrance stores. The newest codes are Gents 10 for Frag Bar, 10% off. Hamidi, which is a brand by Armaf. There is Gents 25 for 25% off there. And Ashton 40 for 40 bucks off at Precious Liquid. A lot of codes, man. All right, let's kick it off with Riddle of Feels. 4518, Riddle of Feels. I actually really like that. Riddle of Feels. Is that like if Conan the Barbarian was emo? And then instead of the Riddle of Steel, the Riddle of Feels. What is best in life, Conan? I don't know. To see your enemies succeed and to have them take your women. No, Conan. The lamentation of the women. We're getting sidetracked. He says, Terre d'Hermès Eau de Toilette is such a clean and natural scent that I don't get tired of it. No synthetic smell, harshness, or cloying sweetness to burn out on. Now, this is an interesting choice, and it's not that I disagree with it. I think personally that, yeah, you can wear Terre d'Hermès pretty much anywhere, anytime, and it's gonna work. It's gonna smell good, classy, sophisticated, gentlemanly, all that stuff. But where you say that it's a clean scent with no harshness, there are people out there who would be like, you sure about that? Because it does have that flinty earthiness to it, you know, the terre in Terre d'Hermès, that is going to turn some people off. Personally, like I said, I think it smells awesome, and I think it's a great choice, but there are some people who are going to weenie out on that one. Weenie Hut Jr.'s awesome fragrance, though, Riddle of Feels. Jingle Dubs 3989 says, I actually alternated between Gentleman Eau de Parfum and Gentleman Boisé this last week. Maybe not the same exact fragrance, but in the same line and both showcasing that beautiful iris. That was a chore to do. Somehow I dropped those bottles twice trying to make that happen. Trying to pull those out and put them on the table, difficult apparently. So, as you said, not exactly the same fragrance, but both do showcase the iris, and I think both smell just absolutely amazing. Gentleman is a great line, and that was actually reflected in your answers because Gentleman came up numerous times, fragrances from that house, and actually one of the comments here in a second that we'll look at was more Gentleman. So basically, if you like iris, especially in that, you know, somewhat more makeup-y style, then the Gentleman line is something you should check out. Yeah, these are just fantastic. Top of the line fragrances as far as designers go, and I'm 100% on board with you. I could wear these for a week easily. Nick's Gone 6444 says, gonna have to go with Cedrat Boisé. Intense, works in all occasions and all kinds of weather. The fruity sweetness and transition to smokiness is a great way to keep it interesting. If you have on something that stays the same from the opening to the dry down, it might get monotonous. Also some love for Leighton because it's getting cold and Leighton is Leighton. Yeah, you don't have to say much more than that, do you? Leighton is Leighton. It works. We all know it works. Like everybody gets it at this point. You have to keep saying it, you know, anytime you bring it up, you know, hey, here's Leighton, by the way, huge compliment puller, etc., etc. But yeah, we know. Intense Cedrat Boisé, though, this is a good choice. Has really nice performance, good versatility, big compliment puller, and I like it a lot. Actually like it a whole bunch. The original Cedrat Boisé has long been a compliment beast for me. This one is right there with it. And I think that just for my own personal use, I probably would go Intense as well at this point over the original. Though the original is typically much cheaper and easier to find for a lower price. So if that is important to you, then maybe the original would be better, but yeah, good choice. Mark H7389 says, PDM Sedley for sure. Raja Elysium and YSLY EDP would be backup choices. So basically, got to get that blue fragrance love. That's what you're you're looking for. Parfums de Marly Sedley does what most people would look for in a fragrance. You know, it's got that ease of use. It's very clean, fresh, like an out of the shower type scent with good performance and higher quality. So yeah, you could wear that anywhere and people are gonna like it. I'm going to assume that this next username is pronounced Prick1, Priqqq1. I mean, right? It's gotta be that. Gentleman Eau de Toilette Intense. I told you, a lot of people were loving on Gentleman. I love that iris, and it's versatile enough to wear it regardless of when that week falls during the year. Summer, winter, doesn't matter. And even with weather fluctuations during that week, rain or shine, hot or cold, it's my go-to easy reach for that very reason. Yeah, this one has drawn comparisons to the discontinued Dior Homme Eau. And when Dior Homme Eau came out, that was essentially taking Dior Homme, that DNA, that style, and repurposing it so that it could be worn also during, you know, spring or summer. And this kind of does the same deal, only with the Gentleman Eau de Parfum style of iris fragrance DNA. You know, it freshens it up, but still maintains that classiness and that iris right at the forefront. And once again, I do love it. I mean, I'm a sucker for the Gentleman line, so any of these three, I would wear for a week. Yeah. DIY Wisconsin 7280 says, lately, Le Beau Le Parfum. Victory Elixir is awesome too, and doesn't get old. Yes, both are really top notch. Le Beau Le Parfum took me a little bit longer to come around to. For whatever reason, I liked it initially, but now I love it. So, bit of a difference there. Victory Elixir I liked right away, and some people will draw comparisons to how Victory Elixir smells in the opening and how this smells in the opening as well. Le Beau Le Parfum has this just chef's kiss opening, this tropical opening that still has great depth to it. Big compliment puller, really nice performance. Can't say enough about that stuff. Tin Gland, is that right? Tin Gland? 8542, Dior Homme 2020. It has everything I look for in a fragrance. That said, after 7 straight days, I might put it back on the shelf for a month or so. Yeah, I mean, at this point, like considering how much stuff that I smell even on a daily basis, you know, multiple fragrances typically, if I wore just one for a week straight, nothing else, yeah, I'd probably start switching it up quite a bit after that. But Dior Homme 2020 is a good choice. I mean, you guys, you crush it every time you crush it with just great answers. So this one, I absolutely despised when it came out. You guys know that if you've been around for a minute. Really hated it. Mainly it was because I was salty that they were doing away with the iris in Dior Homme. We've been talking about iris already a bit and mentioned Dior Homme already as well, but yeah, they basically jettisoned that. You know, they sent it off into the dark recesses of space to just die alone. They're like, goodbye, iris, we no longer want you. And interestingly, around the time they did that is when all these other brands were like, hey, iris is like the new thing, so put it in everything. Dior was standing there like, we did that first like a long while ago. What is going on? But yeah, this is a very woody fragrance, very fresh, contemporary, woody fragrance with a good amount of spice in there too, woody, spicy. And while it does have freshness, especially off the top, it does have enough oomph to it that you can wear that during cooler months as well. Great jack of all trades fragrance. I've come around to really enjoy it. I no longer hate it because of the sins of the brand. I accept it for what it is, and I enjoy it. Einer Hoberg Rasmussen. Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum, just a masterpiece. Short, sweet, and to the point. Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum, I think, as I've said a number of times, is quite possibly the most versatile fragrance as far as designers go on the market. If it's not the most versatile, it's one of them. I think you could pretty comfortably say top 10 if we're just saying or judging a fragrance solely on versatility. It will work literally anywhere. So if you wanted the safest bet for a fragrance that you were gonna wear for a week straight, and it didn't matter if you were going to the office, going to a funeral, going to a wedding, just hanging out at home, going shopping, whatever you're doing, you want a fragrance that's gonna work, this will do that. Eden BRZ says, I would wear Nishane Hasavat all week and not get bored. I love the more mature take on the Aventus DNA, and to me it smells better than Aventus. Honestly, at this point, there are so many Aventus style fragrances out there between the designer Aventus style fragrances, the actual clone fragrances of Aventus, which realistically, none of them smell exactly like Aventus. They all smell like different variations or slight, sometimes not so slight, tweaks on the Aventus DNA. And then you have a whole bunch of niche fragrances, like Hassabot being one of them, that are kind of related to Aventus, but don't smell exactly like Aventus. There's so many of those out there that at this point, I think realistically, most people could probably find one that they like more than Aventus. That's one of the things that has come with Aventus's success, that there are so many different iterations out there of that style now that there's probably one out there that works for you better than the OG. Kind of same thing has happened with BR540. Hassabot, I think, is absolutely, for the majority of people, gonna be a better bang for your buck, a better buy, because from discounters, this is way cheaper than Aventus. It's an extrait de parfum, so really good performance, and it can be worn and used just as easily as Aventus, just as many places. Really good stuff. Fat Shady 5714 Fat Shady. Not Slim Shady, but Fat Shady. Eminem if he had too many Eminems, I guess. Guerlain Vetiver, absolute masterpiece that is awesome any time of year. Again, I agree, and I'm a big fan of this one. I always have been. The only thing with Guerlain Vetiver is some people, especially younger people, are not gonna jive with it because it is a little bit more of an old school fragrance, and the vetiver in here is not as like fresh, soapy clean as a lot of the more popular vetiver fragrances are. I like vetiver in all shapes, forms, facets, but I know that through doing the channel and hearing back from people that some of the more masculine smelling vetivers, or the more dry vetivers, the more smoky, earthy, woody vetivers can sometimes scare people away. I think this one is fantastic though. It comes in a different bottle style than this. I actually have all the old school bottle styles, but I don't have this in the new bottle style yet. Really lovely scent. Used to be very inexpensive from discounters. You used to be able to find Guerlain Vetiver for about 30 bucks, but it is considerably more than that, at least last time I checked. Still worth it though. Ahmed Jalal 2121, if I butchered that, I'm sorry, says Platinum Egoist and Nikos Sculpture in the summer. Got so many compliments with it, especially in the work environment. Some said it has a bit of a throwback feel, but I love those 90s, especially the whiffs coming my way throughout the day, making me get through the tough work happily. I love those 90s fragrances. 90s fragrances. Nico Sculpture was kind of an interesting one. I didn't expect to see this one pop up, but I jived with it. You know, this stuff is pretty good buy. Not too expensive. Presentation looks nice. Fragrance is good. Can't get the cap on correctly. There we go. So Sculpture is crazy cheap. Under 20 bucks from discounters. It's very fresh. It does have a little bit of a throwback feel to it, sweetness as well. It's similar to a number of scents out there, but not the same as any of them, just like in the same style, same family. So Dunhill Desire Blue and also Red. Wake Up World, same perfumer actually did Sculpture and Wake Up World. So similar to that one. Zerzhov's Udin and a number of other scents out there also actually. And to be fair, you know, for under 20 bucks, it's actually really nice because that is bargain bin pricing. And then Platinum Egoist. I mean, what can you say? Perfect office fragrance. Really nice, gentlemanly scent in general. Overlooked a bit, you know, because of the Allure line and obviously Bleu de Chanel as well. But man, it's just like such a fresh blast, such an aromatic masterpiece there. So both of those, big thumbs up. Christian Lopez 488 is up next, who says, Afnan Tarothi Blue. I've recently been taking your advice on wearing the typical summer freshies in colder weather, and I have a whole new appreciation for Tarothi Blue. I would definitely wear this for one whole week in the cooler weather or warmer weather. This one is a clone of Bulgari's Tiger, a very good one as well for a great price. The only thing that frustrates me about this bottle is when you lay it back down, for whatever reason, set it back down, sometimes it has a tendency to kind of do that, where it just kind of wobbles and feels insecure. But this is a very hyped fragrance for good reason. For the price point, it is one of the better buys on the market in general. And as he said, you know, sometimes you should wear those fragrances that are summer fragrances during cooler months. You might be surprised at how good they smell. Jeremy DeBose up next says, ombre leather if this summer ever goes away. Oh, I guess I should sit you over here, right? Because wait, no, you here, these here, is that the order? Totally screwed that up. But anyway, back to this one. Yeah, if the summer ever goes away, it'd be a good choice, yeah. Ombre leather, a great leather scent in general. It's another one that has that quality, that high level of quality, like you would expect from Tom Ford, but then it also has that mass appeal, and that is why it is such a good scent and so well selling. Because if it gives you very high quality and helps set you apart, then at the same time people very much enjoy it, that's a win-win. And while I do say all the time that fresher fragrances a lot of times smell fantastic in cold weather, if it is a heavier fragrance and it's really hot out, then maybe I would second guess that. Or just wear fewer sprays. But I wouldn't, wear like Spice Bomb Extreme in the middle of summer and spray it on 10 times or 12 times or something. It's easier to pull off something fresh when it's cold than it is to pull off something really heavy and potentially cloying when it's very hot outside and humid. It doesn't always work out as well. Sir C.R. Sniffington says, for Pond 1270, when it's autumn or fall, it's hard not to wear it every single day. A lot to love about this. It's not too expensive. From discounters, you can get this for under $100 typically. It smells great. It's by Sydney Lancesura. She did a bang up job with that fragrance. It's got dried fruits, it has vanilla, has kind of a booziness to it. It's just really addictive. It's cozy, it's high quality. There's a lot to love. The only thing about it that's maybe iffy is the performance could be better, but again, under $100. So as usual, Sir C.R. Sniffington bringing the heat. Last but not least, we have Fragrance Gentleman, who says, recently got it the Scent Magnetic Killer fragrance, would wear it every single day. And I really enjoy the Scent Magnetic. As far as like vanilla forward fragrances, of which there are a bunch nowadays, that is, I feel like, a pretty interesting one, a unique one. It has that Meninka from the scent line, but it's not quite as forward as in a lot of the other flankers. It's a little bit powdery, and then it has Bran in there, which is a very interesting note that you don't see very often or really ever. Bran. But it works. It smells great. But my fingers don't work. It's got a big compliment factor. My wife loves it. And I think that it sets you apart quite a bit. So during fall and winter, it's a really good choice. And there we go, guys. Those are your choices. Technically more than 15 because a couple of you had 2 fragrances in there, but 15 different scents you could wear for a week straight and not get tired of them. And realistically, a lot of these are just spot on choices. Thank you everyone that submitted your choices. Thank you everyone that upvoted other people's choices. And again, if you want to do one of these or be featured in one of these rather in the future, check the community tab of the YouTube channel. Thank you all for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, guys. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.
Thank you.